Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
We're going to begin by coming into child's pose. Gliding your breath in through the nose fully. Exhale, let it come out completely. Welcome to Shakti Soul Yoga Collective. Guiding you through a Module 4 teacher training segment. The beautiful focus on Anahata, 4th chakra. Guiding along with this practice, we do sections of pranayama, which is also part of the 4th limb in our 8th limb yoga. Extending the spine as you breathe in, reaching the fingers and the hands long. Maybe your toes touch. Maybe you find length in the very lower sacral. Fingers are flat, flush with the mat. Feeling energy through the meridians of the very tippy toes and the tippy tips of your fingers. Shoulders and clavicle roll away from your neck. Seeing that linear length and spine elongate. exhale through the nose. Glide your tongue to the very top roof of your mouth, just at the rim of your teeth. Bring your focus to your third eye. That intuition, that intuitive motion. Maybe your count is inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue, match this to your timing and your breath. Letting that be your concentration for your meditation in this practice today. Above all, feel the glide happening, the letting go of thoughts, ideas, emotions, practices that you once knew. Glide in. Jayadeva, music, this beautiful segue into this yoga practice. This blessed kirtan. Let's reach that left hand over to the right hand. Just let it rest over the top of the hand. See how the ribs start separating and the length starts opening? And sliding the top left hand over to the left now, let the right hand float over your left wrist. See that separation and then let it go. Breathe, soft, subtle. Opening up that expansion. Let's reach those hands back to center. Begin to slowly make your way to tabletop, rolling over your knees, sliding your wrists and hands underneath your shoulders. Begin to take your bandha and pull the belly button up and in to the back of the spine, engaging that stomach, that bottom lock. Let the clavicle be wide. Squeeze shoulders. Shoulders stacked right over the wrists, hands nice and flat. Tops of the feet are flat on the mat. Beautiful. Let's drop the belly and roll the heart up. Lift as we find this beautiful cow pose. Excellent. Exhale, lift, pull everything out of the top of your head. Let the back spine lift up vertebrae by vertebrae. And just take yourself through a few of these.
I'm so sorry. I realize this isn't the right.
Okay.
Sorry to kill that.
That's okay. Coming back to your neutral back, please. Neutral cat-cow table.
Since it's at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better just to start over.
That's okay. What would you like?
Oh no, I just have to shift because I realize that comes in too quick.
Okay.
This needs like that slope.
Okay.
So I have a different one.
You're good.
Yeah, sorry.
That's awesome.
If you don't mind.
Not at all.
And we can always camera.
we're in a beautiful, comfortable spot right now, guys. We're in tabletop. So let's go ahead and just hold tabletop for a moment. Take a breath. And then let's shift back into child's pose. And just rest for a moment still. Working our way into our practice. We're just going to guide and wait. We're all a team here. We're all a collective. So as we are reached out into our child's pose, we find that length in our spine, length in our fingers, and length in our toes. I find this is a beautiful opportunity to find length in our mind, openness in our heart. On that next inhale, roll over your knees, finding child's tabletop. Shoulders are stacked over the wrists. Slide those wrists to the right under the shoulders. Spin the biceps away. Engage that bandha. Mula bandha, pull in that root. Now come onto the tops of your feet. See that your shoulders are right over the wrist. Drop that belly and roll the heart up. Lift, inhale. Exhale, spin everything out of the tip of your head, letting each vertebrae come up. Hold here a moment. Push away the earth. Take everything out of the top of your head. Now drop that belly, roll the heart up, lift vertebrae by vertebrae. Spin the biceps away as you lift up with the heart. Anahata. Exhale, spin it out, everything out of the top of your head. Vertebrae by vertebrae, reaches, lifts. Beautiful. Let's just go through a couple of these. Yogi's movement, yogi's intuitive movement. Maybe pay attention to little sections of the back or little sections of the spine. Maybe you might roll a little horizontal. Maybe you'll swish or swash a few different directions. Keeping in mind that we're warming up the spine, we're engaging our bandha, and we're letting go. Back to that neutral tabletop. Let's reach that right arm up, lift up, look up, gaze up. Swoop down that exhale, right behind that left wrist, coming all the way down onto the right temple. And just let it go, relax. Let those knuckles hit the floor. Shoulders unwind, open up. Goodbye, exhale. Push away with your left wrist. Bring that right hand back up, look up, gaze up. Same way you came in. And then bring it down to table. Second side should be the left hand up, reach up, look. Find the expansion, open, push away the earth with opposing forces. Switch that hand down behind the wrist. Reach. How far can you reach? Let your temple rest on the ground. Releasing of the bandha, letting go. Beautiful. Push away the earth with that hand, that supported hand, reaching the left hand back up and bring it all down. Beautiful. Take yourself through another cat-cow, lifting up and exhaling out. And then coming back to that neutral tabletop, let's switch the hands the opposite direction. Let's reach those fingertips inward. Play with that a moment. Feel what feels right to you. Let's come up onto the tippy toes here. Feel the reach of the ankles. Maybe you sit back on your heels here. Beautiful. Let's switch those hands back over. Let's push those toes into the earth and peel it back into downward dog. First down dog of the practice. Go ahead and bend it out. Maybe you're hip distance apart. Maybe you paddle each leg in or out. Maybe you roll up onto the tippy toes. Maybe push the heels down. Play with this for a moment. Trust your movement. Trust your body. Trust what you need today. Following your heart. Let's just take little steps with our hands, walking very slowly, step by step, back to our toes. Coming all the way back into a forward fold. All the way over, head drops, hands drop, soften the knees. Maybe your hands are on the mat, maybe you have your elbows. Let's bend those knees so much that maybe our chest is just collapsed onto our legs. No bandhas are locked. We're letting go of everything. Everything we might have known before, we just pour it out of the top of our head onto the mat. That beautiful bliss of being fresh and new and born again. Moment by moment, we get to recreate this new blessed moment and breath. Let the hands float to the ground. And slowly start taking the bend out of your legs. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, fold. Let's reach the hands behind the back. Maybe you clasp your hands today. Let them fold, float all the way over your back. Maybe you have a rock in your neck. Maybe you have a rock in your head. Maybe you bend your knees drastically. Mind you, this is your practice. I'm here just giving you steps and instruction, ideas. You can take it or leave it. Always follow your body, what you need to do in your practice. It's your responsibility to really take care of yourself. And I'll continue to guide you and give you ideas. Let the hands float back down. Bring your hands to prayer. Anjali. Vertebrae by vertebrae, ragdoll up to standing. Hands at heart, close the eyes. We're going to share an Om together. We're going to share an Om together. Take that deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Sharing an Om to respect and honor the teachers before us. Inhale. foot to the side. Inhale, reach the arms up, lift tall. Expand the breath. Push the feet into the earth, roll the shoulders back, and gaze up slightly. Engage your jalard, pull the chin back into that lock, engage your Mula Bandha. Exhale, swan dive over. Hang all the way over the front of the body. Shake the head. Inhale, halfway up. Back is straight. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Reach the hands up wide. Lift up tall. Gather up that love in that heart. Exhale, hands come back to your heart. Undulate. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, swan dive over. Inhale, halfway up, back is straight. Find the bandha. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach wide, lift up. Exhale, hands to heart. Take yourself through 2 more of these. Begin. Inhale, rise. Stay all together. We're all together, all collective. Feel each other's energy as you move through this practice. Root. Heart. All together, inhale, rise. Exhale, over. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach. All that love up in and out. Hands to heart. Inhale, reach up, lift up. Cactus the arms as we exhale. Bend back, lean back, gaze back. Exhale, hands up. Swan dive over. Grab onto your big feet with your big toes, peace fingers. Pull the body forward. Release. Press the hands down. Now you might bend your knees. Either way, we're walking into plank. Heels and toes are on line. Shoulders are over wrists. Holding this plank. Engage the bandha, Mula Bandha. Look straight down between the fingers. Now, if any time that you want to drop your knees, if you feel like your back is giving, please do. Now we're going to squeeze those biceps in, so they're going to rub right along our ribs as we lower down. Cobra up. Come onto the tops of your feet. Inhale, cobra. Keeping those hands pulled back, squeeze those elbows in, lift with the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, cobra. Squeeze those elbows in, look up, gaze up, never holding our breath, right? Exhale, fold. Beautiful. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, fold. Bend your left foot up and extend your right leg out. And extend your right hand out. So we're going to extend our right hand out like, yes, you got it. So lifting the left leg up and the right arm up, we're going to lift up, push up, cobra. Yes, beautiful. Exhale, fold. Second side, slide your right hand in. Extend your left hand out. Opposite foot lift, inhale up. Exhale down. Second side. Slide the hand in. Lift up, inhale, cobra. Beautiful. And down, second side. And down, beautiful. Slide both your hands in, up dog. Lift with a heart. Come all thighs off. And exhale, downward dog. Let's take that right arm and bring it all the way over to our left knee. Now maybe in your practice it slides down to your ankle or your foot. Push away the earth with that strong left arm and look under your underarm right here. Beautiful, Dresdy, up and under. Feel that reach, feel that opposing forces. Simple, beautiful movement really reaches a lot of direction in all the vayus. And left arm back up. Let's switch sides. Right arm up. Left arm back over to the right side. Slide it down. Maybe your gaze is under your underarm. Beautiful. Bring it all back. And from down dog, we're going to drop that right knee to the ground. Drop the right knee, slide that right hand underneath the shoulder as your left hand comes up, supported side angle. So like that left heel, really line up behind the right foot, push away the right hand, and reach for the stars. Let that left foot begin to float up. Look up at that hand if you're an extrovert too. We're just going to go ahead and kick that left heel back behind us and cross the horizon with that arm. Let it maybe reach your heel or your foot. Your foot into your arm. Yes. And release. Let it reach out, extend the foot, and then come all the way back down to table. Exhale, push back, downward dog. Second side. Drop your left knee down. Spin that right heel flat and reach your left hand to the sky. Shoulders stacked right over the wrist. And begin to let that foot float up. Flexing the foot helps. Engaging the bandha, up and in. Feel the reach. Beautiful. If your neck permits, gaze up, look up. Then begin to kick that heel back as your hand just reaches in unison. Maybe you have your foot today, maybe no. Moving through this practice. Be where you are today. Coming out the same way we came in. Taking yourself back into down dog. Bend the knees dramatically. Look up between the hands. Hop, float, fly, or crawl to the front of the mat. Hanging over the front of the body. Toes touch, knees touch. Uttattarasana. Engaging the bandhas, squeezing the knees, reaching out. Now visualize your heart just open and radiant. Let your shoulders roll back, feel electricity in your fingers, and sit a little lower. Squeeze. Open your heart. Focus on Anahata, that beautiful green chakra. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hop float back to plank. Take yourself through chaturanga, lowering down into cobra or up dog. Exhale back into down dog. Beautiful. And again, we're going to drop that right knee, spin that left foot flat, slide that right hand under the shoulder as your left hand comes to the sky. This time we're going to bow the elbow back, lifting with the heart. Keep the heel really pressing into the earth. Let your left hip drop back and pull away. The left hand's going to come right back down and let that left foot float up behind you, toe points down, setting up for sunbird. So engage the bandha and reach that right hand out. Thumb is plugged into the sky. Now see that your shoulder is pulled away from your ear and your toe is pointing down. Yes, good corrections. Breathing steady in through the nose and out through the nose. If you're wobbly, maybe we take a wider stance with your hips. These are all beautiful support. A lot of you know what this coming up here, awkward airplane. We're going to slide that right hand away and we're going to kick that left foot away. Off the sides of the mat. Beautiful, Shannon. Yes. Awkward airplane, for its name. Your Dresdi is your left thumb. You're engaging your bandha and you're flexing everything. All the vayus are working here, right? Beautiful. Let's line it all back up. Exhale, bring it all down. Beautiful. Step back to plank. Lower down, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Five breaths here. In through the nose, out through the nose. Keep that steady beat. Internal movement, an internal clock. Your time. This is your healing. This is your body. This is your movement. Drop that left knee now. Spin that right heel flat. Opposite foot, opposite hand, yeah? Shoulders stacked over wrists. Bow, beautiful. Bow that arm away. Really lift that clavicle, that heart opening. Come into the energy of that green, spiraling energy located in your heart. Exhale, goodbye. Hand comes down, foot floats up. And left hand extends out. Sunbird, right out in front. Beautiful. Alter your body to where you need it. If you need to drop your knee, if you need to come down for a moment, just engage and do what is right for your body. I'm not in your body. You're in your body. Thumb is plugged into the sky. The toe is pointed down. That helps us engage our bandha. Our Dresdi, our eye vision is down to our right thumb now. Beautiful. Feel that really nice churning up that core now. Awkward airplane. Left hand to the left, right foot to the right. Beautiful, guys. This is gorgeous. Do what you can for 3 more breaths. Line it back up. And bring it back down to table. Peel it back into downward dog this time. Beautiful. We're warming up here. Toes touch, knees touch. Look between the hands, hop, float, or fly. Uttanasana. Lift with the heart, roll the shoulders back, squeeze. Right arm back, look back, gaze back. Right arm up, forward. Switching sides now, yeah? Left hand, reach back, look back. Left arm back up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Step back, hop back, plank. Take yourself through up dog. Exhale, back down dog. All right, getting ready to move a little more and a little bit of a flow here. Right heel up to the sky. Let's point the toe down and keep the hips neutral. Engage the bandha. Drop the hip. There you go. And let's kick the knee all the way over now. Open the hips. Kick the knee like we're touching the stars with our hips and our knees. Being mindful of our shoulders being really keeping those even. Yes. Let's straighten that foot back out. And shoulders over wrists, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, reach back up. Crossing over to the left, shoulders over wrists, knee to elbow. Beautiful. Reach back up. Maybe make your expansion a little bit back. Bring your foot back. Inhale, right knee to chest. Beautiful. Kick back up. Okay, ready. Soft landing. Right foot right through the hands. Stay low lunge. Drop that left knee. Soften that left toe. And reach the arms back into cactus. Or like we're hugging the sun. Nice. Shoulders back. Open the arms. Pull the hips back. Engage the bandha. Beautiful. Hands down to the ground. And go ahead and push away that front leg. Maybe we keep our toe straight. Our front leg is straight, and we're going to keep our toe down here. And just begin to maybe slide your hands under the shoulders and peel the body down. Bend the knee, coming back up off that left knee, coming right into a high lunge. So from low lunge, scoop the hands up like we did in the beginning with Anaskar A. Roll the shoulders back and the chest up into cactus. Inhale. Exhale, hands come up and to heart. Inhale, lengthen. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to the ground. Swing that right foot up to the sky and let it float back to meet your left. Inhale, left heel up to the sky, neutral. Exhale, kick it all the way up, knee to the stars. Shoulders are even, engage the bandha. Line your foot back up. And left knee to left elbow, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, reach up. Swing to the right. Switch back up. Come into the heart. Switch back arm. And come right through the hands. Drop the right knee flat. Rise, hands up, low lunge. Finding your center, pulling your hips neutral, shoulders away from the ears. Cactus your arms as you reach out, Kaya. Feel that heart opening. Exhale, hands come to heart. Just going to set them right down to the ground and push away the earth. Left foot stays long. And begin to just fold over the front of your body. Let's bend that left knee, pop that right toe back up. Heel toe that foot so it's right underneath your shoulder there. Knees over the ankle. And then swoop those hands up into high lunge, inhale. Cactus, exhale. Hands to heart. Exhale, hands down. Swing that left foot up to the sky. Three-legged down dog. Left foot meets right. And are you ready? Inhale, right heel up to the sky. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Shoulders over wrist. Tuck it in. Inhale, reach up to the sky. And exhale to the left. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Curl it into the heart. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Soft landing, right through. High lunge. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, back hands to heart. Left elbow to the right side of the knee. Point the elbow up to the sky. Thumbs come to solar plex. Beautiful. Back to center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to the ground. Swing that right foot up to the sky. Come back down to your left. Left heel up to the sky. Left foot is up to the sky. Switching sides. Left knee to left elbow. Shoulders over wrist. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Come over to the right. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Curl it into the heart. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Swing it right through the hands. High lunge. Heel toe that foot so it's right underneath your underarm. As you reach your arms up, lift up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale up. Hands to heart. Inhale, lengthen. Right elbow to left side. Staying in lunge position. Heel toe that foot over. Beautiful. Hands back up to the sky. Hands to the ground. Swing that front leg up to the sky. Three-legged down dog. Left foot meets right. Toes touch, knees touch. Uttanasana, shoot up through the front. And inhale, lift. Exhale, right arm back, look back. Swing it up front. Sit lower, inhale, left heel, land back. Left hand up. Hands over the front. Hop, float, or fly back. Plank. Lower down. Up dog. Exhale, down dog. Come right to the chest. Beautiful. One more set. Inhale, right heel up to the sky with a little flare. Exhale, right knee, right through the hands. High lunge. Exhale, left hand to the ground, right hand to the sky. Right hand down. Look at the right front foot. Let the left foot float up. Toe points down. Engage the bandha. If it's in your practice to make your way into Warrior 3, Warrior 3 is both hands forward and the toes pointing down. The hips are neutral. Hands to the ground. Large step all the way back. Swing that right foot up to the sky. Shoulders over wrists, knee to the heart. Flex the right foot. Cross to the left side of the body. And let the left hand come to the sky. Beautiful. Breathe into it. You've got this. Left hand down. Pull your knee into your heart. And step it back to your heels. And left heel up to the sky. Come into child's pose. And inhale, sweep it through, high lunge. Good concentration, good focus, everybody. Let's heel toe our knee so it's directly in front of our left hip. That way. There you go. Beautiful. Hands up, lift up. Exhale, right hand to the ground, left hand to the sky. Beautiful. Exhale, left hand down. Swing that left foot up to the sky. Inhale, curl the knee into your heart. Shoulders over wrists. Flex your foot, cross to the right side of the mat. Right hand to the sky. Free bird, flying. Open your heart. Feel that? Push away the earth. See, you're supporting your shoulders over your wrists. Opening up your hips, opening up your heart. Hand down. Swing your foot back up to the sky. And foot down. Take yourself through chaturanga. And meet me in down dog. Pull that right heel up to the sky. And step halfway between your foot and your hands in its own lane, coming into a pyramid. So we're going to slide those hands to heart. Bring them right up to Allah heart. Vertebrae by vertebrae come up. Left hand reaches to the sky, right hand down. Pull the kneecaps up, keep the hips neutral. Bend the elbow. Maybe you have your hand together in the back. Maybe you have in that area. So engage the bandha. Inhale, forward fold, hinge right over the front. Forward fold. If you're wobbly, take a wider stance. But this position, we're keeping our legs straight. So we're lifting our kneecaps up. So you only go down as far as your body tells you to go down. And vertebrae by vertebrae coming back up. Let the hands come down. Left foot meets right. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. This time, step back with the right foot. Heel toe the feet so they're in the hips. Hands to heart. Vertebrae by vertebrae coming up. This time, right arm up, left arm down. Cross in the back. The elbows pushing up right behind the back of the head. We're pulling that right shoulder away. We're pulling our left hip back into neutral. Keep those legs straight. Inhale. Exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll it over. Hinge at the hips as you forward fold. Keeping the legs as straight as possible. Just come down as far as your body tells you to without bending your front leg. back up. Let the hands float back down. And bring your left foot to right. Stay here a moment, take a beat, take a couple breaths here, close the eyes. Bring your attention to your third eye. Hands to heart. Right foot, large step. All the way to the back. Reach the hands out, star pose. Spin that right heel so the toes are reaching out in front. Setting up for triangle. So our right toes are pointing to the right of our body. Hinge with the left hip going left and the right hand going forward. So before we go down, we're going to stay in this reach pose first. Our legs are straight and we're reaching past. So look back at your left hand, see that it's lined up right in front of your shoulder. Take the bend out of your knee. Really pull that knee up. See how far you can slide that hand over. Trikonasana. Let the right hand just float to where it goes, keeping the leg straight, and the left hand comes up. And then begin to make your way down as you slide forward. The minute that your hip or your shoulder starts coming in front of the line, you want to back up. You want to bring that hand back up. Now we get to float into half moon pose. So our left hand comes to our hip. Our gaze comes back to our right toe. We bend the right knee. Use a block, or you can float onto the floor, or bring your right hand to your heart as your left foot floats up. Flex that toe away. Here we have our extended rotation. Hips are open and wide, just like our heart today. The toe points towards the front of your body. Beautiful. Soft landing all the way back. Warrior two. Bending that knee, coming into that warrior. Beautiful. Stay in this focus right here. Knees over ankle. Spinning that thigh away from your center line. Spin that thigh this way, yeah? Beautiful. Shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. All that electricity coming through the fingers. Virabhadrasana. One. Where you got this. Beautiful. 1, 2, and 3. Let's flip that front hand and reverse your warrior. Stay low in your warrior. Beautiful. This is gorgeous. Beautiful. Exhale back to warrior two. Now let's straighten that front leg. Bring your hands to your hip. Come back, spin that right heel flat. Bend at the waist, forward fold. Grab onto the outside of your feet, pull yourself through. Tuck the chin. Beautiful. Hands come up to the hips, come back up vertebrae by vertebrae. Second side, spin that left toe away. Facing the front of the room now. Reach that left hand out. Setting up for triangle. So pull that kneecap up, extend the arms. Let those fingers reach past the toe. Before we go anywhere though, look back at your right hand. Line it up, nice beautiful star. Front leg is straight, left leg is straight. Only bending at the hips. So hinge the hips and reach. Reach. And let the hand just float down to where it goes. And then extend that arm up. And then slide the left hand down. Where does it take you today? Every day we have something different. If a bind is in your practice, please go for it. Right hand, if you're in the bind, undo the bind. Bring your right hand to your hip. Gaze over the left toe, bend the left knee. Maybe left hand comes to heart. Float up half moon. And then extend the arms. Strong pose. Lift the kneecap up. Flex the foot. Find that half moon. Yes, open up. Float back softly, back foot comes down. Extending into warrior two, bend that front leg, flip that front hand. Stay low, take a breath here. Virabhasana, warrior pose. Whole story that goes with this. Flip that front hand, reverse it, reach back, look back. Bend that front knee. Yeah. Beautiful. Exhale, cartwheel, both hands all the way to the front of the body. Spin that left foot back to the front. Back. Take yourself to chaturanga. And exhale, down dog. From down dog here, gonna just drop to our knees. Toes touch, widen those knees. Coming into Anahata. Reach those hands out. See if you can drop your chest all the way down. Chin touches, chest touches. Taking a few breaths here. Slide those hands up, coming into a sitting pose. Roll up to the knees. Let's see that our knees are hip distance apart. Let's bring our hands to our heart, close our eyes for a moment. Just take a minute, be here right now. A lot of movement today. Heated up your body. Kept your breath. Honoring where you are today. You have your yogi's choice. You can keep your eyes closed or keep a dreshti at a point in the room. You're going to slide your toes into the mat. Reach your right arm up to the sky. And if it's in your practice, let it float back to your right heel. If it is not in your practice, bring your right hand to the small of your back. Left hand to the sky. Let it come back to your left heel or to the small of your back. Now, I like to teach this practice not to release the head and neck. Keep the Jallard locked. Beautiful. Letting that more room for your heart and shoulders to open wide. Beautiful arch. And focus on what you need to focus on, right into the third eye or maybe your heart chakra. More breaths here. We're so ready for this position. Let that left hand come to the sky, engage the bandhas. Bring your left hand to your heart. Let that right arm come to the sky. And right hand to your heart. Come on to the tops of your feet, setting up for hero pose. We're going to widen the knees, either come with a block or the bolster between the legs. And the hands can rest on the back of the feet. Beautiful. Roll the shoulders away. Close the eyes for a moment. Just take in the beat and the rhythm of the music. The expansion of our heart, expansion of our lungs. Your choice. You can stay seated like this, or begin to drop your elbows down, making your way onto your back. Resting your hands over the backs of your feet. Rise. Just take a few breaths here. Expand your heart and lungs. Coming down to a more yin part of our practice. We won't hold them poses for 7 minutes, but we're just slowing down. Focusing on our yin and yang, creating our chi and then delivering it into our holding place. Expansion of our breath and our life force. Slowly feel the elbows into the earth, making your hands back to your heels, rolling your shoulders underneath as you work your way up, gradually back up, and then coming right up into rock pose, sitting on your heels. Let's grab onto the backs of our toes and begin to fold the chin into the chest, just rolling right into rabbit pose. So dropping the head down into the root of the mat, as close to the knees as possible. And then begin to lift your tailbone up. Your sit bones up, holding onto your feet. You'll feel a very deep reach. Lift the tailbone up, the sit bones up, really push the head into the earth. Vertebrae by vertebrae, really feel that rabbit pose starting. Deep turn. And making your way back down. Tilting to the side, right hip. We'll bring our feet out in front of us. Taking the bolster up right behind our knees. We're right about in the middle of the mat here, so we're sliding our bolster under the knees. We're going to come onto our backs, bringing our feet in butterfly and over the bolster. Right hand can be on your belly, and your left hand can be on your heart. Let's close the eyes. Tell you a little story about Virabhadra, where warrior 1 and 2 and 3 come from. So Shiva is the dance of consciousness. To understand Shiva is to understand consciousness. So this is the story of Virabhadra, the great warrior. Shiva was one of the great gods of the Hindu mythology. Him and his consort, Shakti, were madly in love. Shiva was one of the great gods of the Hindu mythology. Shakti was incarnated as Sati, born into a mortal to a great king, Darkshar. He was a fair king, and he was so enamored by his daughter. He only wanted the best for her, for his beautiful baby girl. But the catch is, he doesn't really approve of her love, Shiva. You know, Shiva and his wild, crazy dreadlocks and all his late nights hanging out in cemeteries, covered in ash, barely any clothing. His father just didn't see that being the right fit. So basically, Darkshar is really disappointed with the whole thing. So he believes he can somehow detour her from her love affair. And so the king is planning his annual party. He's going to have his annual fire festival, which is celebrating of the gods. He invites every god. He invites everybody. So everyone's going to be there. Place cards with everyone. But then Sati realizes that she and her husband, her beloved, were not invited. Are the rumors true? That her own father basically did not invite her or Shiva to the party? So she finds him and decides to confront her dad. Not only is he my husband, but he's actually one of the gods. Why would you do this type of humiliation and give such grief to me? I thought you loved me. I thought you wanted what's best for me. And Dakshi replies, well, you really disappointed me too. You decided to choose Shiva over me. She's enraged. She's trying to explain to him how upset she is by his actions, and she creates such rage and anger with herself. And the tapas and the fire and the heat in her body begin to take ignition. He keeps up with stating, I stand by my decision. I don't like the guy. I think he's beneath you. He's weird. And all these gatherings and such, I just want to feel that I can have my way the way I have it. I'm not willing to look any other way. The argument continues. It gets more heated. Okay, so because Shakti and Shiva are so connected, he recognizes something leaves. So sure enough, she bursts into flames from her heat. And Shiva feels this right away. And because of this feeling, he gets so enraged that he reaches to his hair, his dreadlocks, and he pulls one out of his head and he throws it into his fire. It seals in to a snake, and it goes down into the gathering, and circles into the pit of the fire. And then out in rage comes this warrior, Nirbrasana, comes out of the fire. Warrior 1. So picture him coming out of the fire, reaching his arms up, right? And then reaching his sword out, he comes into Warrior 2. Stepping into Warrior 2 with all his rage, slicing off Darsha's head. And then being a warrior, he takes the head, as Shiva says, and places it on the new king. Vira means hero, and Hadra means auspicious. great auspicious hero comes from to battle and avenge. He comes out of fire, strong, fierce, and ready for fighting. We take lesson how to respond rather than to react. Our conditioned responses are emotions, changing us to rather sit and be. Think about it. Their breath of Shiva has back into Daksya, symbolic of how we are to breathe in yoga. So either acting and reacting, jumping out, or sitting with it and feeling the rage inside and holding it and being the best warrior you can be. Being in the moment. Chaos can be around you. The poses can be hard. Situations can be hard. Life can be hard. But when we practice this heat on our mat, and we can find that we can stay in the pose, and we can feel the heat and keep it within, then we're going to show that same type of practice when we're outside the mat, when we're dealing with people, and we're dealing with traffic, dealing with emotions, life's challenges, relationship challenges, family challenges, monetary challenges. Warrior inside, humble, showing up. On your next inhale, you're going to reach your arms out like you're holding and engulfing the sun. Slide your feet and knees up like a triangle. Bring your left ankle over your right knee and slide your right and left hand right through the right thigh into thread the needle. And on an inhale, we'll curl the chin up to touch the knee. And exhale, let the head come down, let the foot come down. Take the left foot straight to the sky and pull it all the way over the right knee. And let the right hand pull the left knee over to the side as your left hand comes out like an airplane wing, knuckles to the ground. Just maybe rock the head a little back side to side. Release with your right hand. Bring your left foot back to meet your right. And we'll heel toe the left foot right in front of the left hip. Bring the right ankle over the left knee now. Keeping both hips on the ground. We'll slide the hands through the left thigh. And on your inhale, you'll curl the chin up to touch the ankle. Flexing the feet, making a square. Flexing both feet. Keep your shoulders rolled up, pull it in, inhale. Exhale, lay it down. And begin to let your left foot to the sky, twist over and drop to the opposite side. Your hand can extend out. Maybe you rock your head side to side. Kind of taking the tension out of the hips, shoulders. ready, let's pull the legs back in, unwind the feet. Extend the arms up overhead, lengthen. And just bring the feet up to the invisible wall. The toes can point towards you. Begin to slide your hands down by your hips, keeping your feet up, working your way into shoulder stand. So pushing the feet up into the sky as you rock your body up into leaning tower of knees up. Your elbows can support or your arms can support. You can point your toes or flex your toes, but reach them up to the sky. Remember, in this practice, we never look to the neighbors. We never look side to side. Be mindful of our neck. If you're ready to fold into plow, go ahead and let your feet float over the back of your head. Maybe they touch the ground, maybe they do not. When you're ready, let's bring the feet back up to the sky. And beautifully release, letting your knees come into your heart, shoulders down to the mat. And we'll rock 3-4 times on the spine until we're up to sitting. Roll over the front of the knees and slide your right knee back into pigeon. So left knee is at the left wrist, hips are in neutral. Look back at your right knee. See that it's right underneath your right hip. Slide those hands under the shoulders and peel up for a cobra. Breathe. Beautiful. And then exhale, just walk it right over the front of your body. Maybe you'll use the bolster in front of your shoulder. If you want to, raise your hand. I can bring it to you. Letting go of any tension you may have been carrying. Letting go of any stress. Just feel your body dropping in. Allowing the pressures to melt into the ground. The earth is here to support. Feel the earth underneath you, grounding. your hands on the earth, slide them to meet underneath your shoulders. Gradually, just beautifully arc your way up. Let the chin glide up. Roll over the left hip, pulling that right foot all the way over the left knee. Knee is tall, sitting on your sit bones. Right hand cross, all the way up behind that right back. Left hand to the sky. Roll the left shoulder away, look up, gaze up, no hurry here. Exhale, elbow to the outside of the right knee. And begin to spin your chin over the right shoulder. Sitting tall, feeling your breath. Expansion of your breath, in through the nose, out through the nose. Beautiful exhale. We'll release by bringing both the hands to the opposite side, to the left side, and just counter twist, look over the left shoulder. Unwind both feet. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive over. Inhale, slide up. Just switching sides here. So bend the right knee, pointed at the right corner of the mat. Spin over the left knee, sitting onto pigeon, right knee in front. So sleeping swan is a little bit more like bringing your knee halfway in front of the mat. That might be better for your body. Or angle it. Look back at your left knee, see that it's lined up. Push away the earth as you cobra up. Inhale. Straightening out those neutral hips, and then walking your way down. breath coming back in, just feeling your notice, feeling a little bit of your body here. What's comfortable. Recognizing where you are. Just begin to take shift, sliding your hands under your shoulders, peeling your way up into that beautiful open heart cobra. Beautiful. Exhale, we're going to just roll over that right hip, swing that left leg all the way out and over. See if you can line that left heel right up with your right knee. Sitting on your sit bones, sit tall, engage the bandha. Left hand, reach it back and around. Kickstand it up against that back, sit tall, lift with the heart. And bring that right arm over, elbow to the left side of the knee, lift tall. And begin to spin over your left shoulder. Gorgeous twist. Thank you for the beautiful smiles. Yes. Two more breaths here. Goodbye, exhale. Release. Counter twist all the way to the other side. Floating back to center, both feet out in front. Last one, inhale, reach tall, lift. Exhale, all the way over. Reach through the fingertips, flex the toes, extend. And exhale, slide the hands all the way onto your backs. Closing down the eyes. Maybe you want to bolster under your knees. Maybe you love the flat earth behind you. Shoulders roll back and away. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale all the way out through the mouth. This is where we get to come back into your natural breath pattern. Welcome to Savasana. Forgot to bring it. I'll just go like this. Yeah, I'll do it anyways. That'd be nice.
Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Sarve Shantu Niramaya Sarve Paschidukha Bhagave Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Resonate with your breath. Feel the rise and the fall of your lungs. Expansion of your life force. Let's begin by bringing your thumb to pointing finger, Gaya Mudra. And just tipping each to the top of the meridians, fingertip by fingertip. Resting your head, maybe rock it side to side. Extend your arms above your head, lengthen your spine, lengthen your legs, point your toes. Beautiful, good morning. Inhale, exhale, pull the knees in, curl them into your heart. Observing the honage of honoring your body, your mind, and your spirit. Rocking over to the right side. Resting a moment, letting your parasympathetic nervous system drop in, letting room for your organs to fall to the side. Letting there be ease. Oh, so slight. So slow, so generous with your heart, giving to yourself. Push your way in to a sitting position, curling your way back up, honoring where you are. Close your eyes, sitting tall with your spine. Maybe you find your right hand on top of your left with your two thumbs touch. Maybe you find Gaya Mudra with your pointing finger, thumb touch onto the knees. Or maybe you bring your hands to your heart and Anjali. Respect and honor for this practice. The teachers that guide us before us. Opening our heart, opening up our mind and spirit. Take a moment to come back to your intention you set today. So much love. So much bright, shiny, radiant, heart-filled, genuineness, authenticity. This is all you. Share an Om together, 3 Oms. Jayadeva. Inhale here. that shines in me shine in all of you. Ja. Namaste.